Hey everybody, welcome to Takeoff with John Kruk, and we've got a special guest. I'm John Kruk, this is John Kruk. Appreciate you joining us.
Yeah, we shouldn't get confused, should we?
No, but I tell you, I was the benefit of some good fortune one time when Larry Bohm was the manager. Ooh. I don't know if I ever told you, but they had just gotten swept. They were coming back home for the last weekend at the vet, and I asked Lee Tobin, who was the PR person at the time, any chance Larry would do a live shot at like 5 o'clock on the news before they closed down the vet? She's like, well, I don't think so. He's not in a good mood. I'll go ask him. She comes back and says, he said yes. Wow. I can't believe it. So Larry Bohm comes out of the dugout. He's like, well, where is John Kruk?
Oh.
So he thought he was coming out to do an interview with you, and he goes, oh, John Kruk, never mind.
Yeah, he's probably not a good guy to talk to after getting swept. But when he managed me in San Diego, we got swept a lot. So it was interesting meetings after games.
He took losses hard.
Yeah, it wasn't his favorite thing, that's for sure. But his passion for the game, though, and his knowledge of the game was. I'm not sitting here now if it wasn't for him. He really helped me progress as a player, thinking through the games, and taught me about situational hitting and the whole deal. So, and he gave me a chance to play when he was managing out there when the GM didn't want no part of that.
Wow.
That's all right. He don't like me, I don't like him.
Well, it worked out, and had a great playing career here in Philadelphia, doing a great job as Phillies analyst. Good to have you back in the booth. How you feeling?
Better. I had my gallbladder removed a couple weeks ago, so that really took out some pain. But, you know, with one issue being solved, others show up, so I'm probably going to have to get my hip replaced sometime soon. Hopefully I can wait till October. That way I can recover and watch the Phillies in the playoffs.
So you think they're going to the playoffs?
You know what? I think they're different now. They're different. I don't know what was going on the first couple months of the season, and I'm not – you know, I think they had a come to Jesus moment when Joe got fired, you know, because you have to look in the mirror. And I heard Nick Castellanos say perfect. He said, I feel responsible for a man losing his job, and it's unacceptable. And you know, when this happened, because I played, you know, I had how many? Bowl got fired. Nick Leva got fired when I was here. When I went to the White Sox, who was our manager then? Gene Lamont got fired. Oh, yeah. So, and you do feel responsible. You do feel like, it's, you know, if you look in the mirror, you know, you can't say, well, I was doing good, and the rest of the guys, it's their fault. It's everyone's fault.
Yeah, it's interesting because down the shore and everywhere you go, people are saying, boy, I guess they didn't like playing for Girardi. I mean, do you think that's it, or do you think it's more of the shock and say, okay, we got to get going here?
Like I said, I think it's that, you know, everything was going the way you know, it goes. You know, they weren't playing well. And I don't think it was, you know, they didn't like Joe. I just think it was, you know, they were playing bad. And you know, John Middleton and Dave Dombrowski and Sam Fuld decided, you know what, we need to make a change and try to shake this thing up. Because, look, this team was built to be in the postseason this year. And you can't wait around. Once you start going south, man, you know, as far as the season goes, if you want to save the season, you can't wait around. You're not going to get rid of the players. I'm sure there's a lot of times when I was playing, they'd like to got rid of a lot of the players, but you know and the managers is the guy that usually goes, and it's sad that it is that way, but that's the way it's been forever.
The one thing I have heard from the guys and Rob Thompson and everybody else is that there's more talking now, there's more communication, and maybe Joe's a good man, Joe Girardi's a good man, but maybe he didn't develop those personal relationships and the connection. Just hearing some of that, do you think in today's game you have to have that and the chemistry with the team?
I think for a manager it's the most important thing, to be open and honest with your players, but communicate with them, let them know what you're thinking. You know, I hear stuff like I know when I played, you know, if for some reason I was struggling, I wasn't in the lineup, they didn't ask me, you know, hey, what do you think about today? You know, and look, I wish they would have. But, you know, when yesterday when they asked Castellanos about, you know, thinking about sitting you, you know, they were open with him and honest with him. And that's the way it has to be now. These players, they want that open dialogue. They want communication. They want to know, you know, what you think if they're doing good or they're doing bad. Like, you know, but it don't take a genius to figure out if you're doing bad. Sometimes it's difficult to realize if you're doing good or not because you don't know if it's going to stay. But you know, I think Rob has learned over the years how important the communication is. And, you know, you look what happened with the Braves when Brian Snitker took over. A lot of those Braves players told me, you know, he just communicated. He was with us. He was one of us, he came in and he asked us questions. He wanted to get our input on different things. And, before it was like, if you don't like the way I manage, tough crap, go somewhere else. We'll get rid of you. But now it's, you have to, and I'm not saying cater to the players, John, but, you have to be open and honest with them because, what were we going to do? He's full of crap, but, these guys now, they want to know. They want to know how the manager is feeling about them and about the team. And I think Rob Thompson is a really good communicator that way.
And how big of a deal do you think it is? It seems like he's kind of going with a set lineup where he's got especially the top of the order and then the bullpen roles. Is that something with guys? I know, look, Joe, in his defense, Kyle Schwarber was not hitting early on, so he had to take him out of the leadoff spot.
Center fielders weren't doing nothing. Yes. Leadoff hitter wasn't doing nothing. And it's tough to score runs that way. When you have, 3 or 4 guys that you're counting on that are struggling, it's going to be tough to score runs and win games. But I do like a set line. Like I said it on the air, there was nothing like knowing that when I got my car at the house to drive to the ballpark, I knew I was playing. I didn't have to look at the board when I got in and go over there and scan and say, am I playing or not? I knew I was playing. And, when I first started, I never knew. So I always had to look at the board when I got in. But, with going with more set lineup, these guys know now when they walk in the door. Now, there might be changes with the lefty pitcher, righty pitcher, whatever, like last night, with Veerling playing third base. But these players want to know that. And they want to know. And I always I knew, after I got here and I started swinging the bat real well, I knew I was going to hit third every day. And I didn't have to worry about, God, am I hitting 6th today? Am I hitting 7th? Am I hitting whatever? And just that confidence that Jim Fregosi had in me, Larry Boa, John Vukovich, all those guys, like lefty, righty, I never had to look. If it was a lefty pitch, I wonder if he's going to play me. And the good thing with Jimmy Fregosi was, because of my knees and playing on this, that great AstroTurf that we had at the vet, I got a lot of day games off, day game after night game. And Jimmy would tell me, probably Thursday, maybe even Friday, do you want the Saturday night game or do you want the Sunday day game? You pick because you're getting one of them off. And that meant the world to me that he thought enough of me to ask me what I thought. And, of course, my answer was always, I'll play both. And he said, no, dummy. That wasn't the question. The question is which one do you want to play, not how many do you want to play. And, and it got Ricky Jordan some at-bats, and Ricky came up with some big hits in those games.
Yeah, and it's interesting with the firing of Joe, the Phillies had the 3rd toughest schedule. They were playing really good teams. Now for the rest of the way, they apparently have one of the easier schedules, 1st or 2nd in line. And then I think as soon as Joe was fired, it's like Kyle Schwarber hits June and he gets going. It's amazing in his career. This is the month where he starts going. How big has that been in the leadoff spot?
It's when you can get one run quick, maybe first pitch a game and you're up 1-0, that's a beautiful thing. But, Kyle, you could tell, he hit that home run his first at bat, and you thought, oh boy, this might be a good fast start for him instead of a slow one. And then it just didn't develop for him. The good thing about him is you never heard him complain. You never heard him, some guys say, hey, my wrist has been bothering me, my elbow, my shoulder, and my swing, and never one excuse from him. And I think, you don't hear excuses we don't hear excuses really from any of them, but the 2 new guys, Nick and Kyle. When they signed those guys, I thought to myself, these 2 guys are going to fit in to Philadelphia incredibly well. They both play hard. They both want to post up every day. And, I think they really do buy into the Phillies and the fans. And that's the toughest thing when you're bringing in a player to, Philly, New York, Boston, anywhere on the East Coast. Can they play in this city? I've seen guys like Andy Ashby. I love Andy. Andy struggled here pitching. He goes to San Diego, and he was in the Cy Young running one year. It's just one of those things that, the pressure here is so much greater, I think, than the pressure elsewhere. Just because you don't want to screw up, because if you screw up, they're going to let you know.
Especially, when you have these guys coming here like Castellanos and Schwarber who are getting big money. Yep. They've got one of the top payrolls in baseball. How tough is it coming to a new team with those expectations? Because I remember Jim Tomei saying that, especially if you're changing leagues, just getting used to your new surroundings.
Yeah, that's a hard thing too, because spring training was later. They had a shortened spring training. The hardest thing is when you go to a new team, where are you going to live? Who's going to get my house? My wife and kids going to like it there. That's a difficult thing. You don't know that. But I think both families have really bought into what Philadelphia is about. But, just to come to a new team, a new environment. Kyle played in Washington, so he and Chicago's could be that way too. But the Midwest is a little more laid back than here. But I'm sure, I don't care how long you played, how much pressure. When you go to a new team, it starts all over, and you want to appease these fans. You want to get off to that good start. You want them to think that I am worth what they're paying me. And then when you get off to a slow start and start struggling, now it's like, oh God. But with Kyle especially, Nick's going to figure it out. He looked really good yesterday. His 2 swings he had pinch hitting. He looked like he freed himself up just by sitting and watching 7 or 8 innings. And I hope that's the case, because he could be a devastating run producer for this team. But I think Kyle, he just, he got off to that slow start, but he never panicked. And, then he moved in and out, batting 6, batting 7, batting back to first, third, whatever. But I think he knew, look, if we can get on a roll somehow, I know June I'm going to help this team. And that's just in his mindset right now. When it hits June, he's a player.
Yeah.
And, is there a coincidence that, come near the end of May that Joe got fired, and knowing that Schwarber might be picking it up? So like I said, you don't managers don't have a team meeting when your 5th starter's pitching that day.
Right.
It's always when your ace is pitching. I'm gonna have a meeting and then throw Wheeler out there, and I'm gonna look like a genius. So it's funny the way things are done.
It really is. It's almost like a perfect storm, and they've won 10 of 11. But man, I see the Mets. You talk about a manager making a difference. Yeah. It seems like Buck Showalter has created a great environment. They're running away with it, but the Braves. They're on a heater of 12 straight games. How tough is it going to be for the Phillies, because all these games against the division?
Well, I don't know if anyone's going to catch the Mets. I don't. And especially, their 3 top starting pitchers are going to be coming back sometime in the second half, and they're all going to be healthy and rested. Like, oh, dear God. It's bad enough getting Scherzer, and then you get DeGrom, you're like, oh, good. They don't have to make a trade at the trade deadline. They're getting 3 trades, and guys that are already on their roster, so their payroll's not going to go up because those guys are already getting paid. They're going to be tough to catch. With Buck, when I talk to some of the Mets players, and I've known Buck forever, he's a dear friend, and he's changed. He's not that old school, do it my way or you're out type of deal. He holds them accountable. He holds them responsible if they do something stupid. They have to answer to the media if they do something stupid. And, I think the guy, but he's also bought into analytics a little, not like 100%, but, he's willing to listen and put it into play if he thinks it's good. But, he lets the players play now. Before I think, we've talked about this, how he micromanager. So I remember going to visit him in Baltimore. He was managing the Royals. I walk in there in his office, and guys are playing ping pong. I'm like, I look at Adam Jones. I'm like, did Buck get fired? He goes, no, he's the one who said we can get one. I'm like, get out of here.
He evolved, huh?
Yeah, he's changed. Lets the guys go out when it's hot and BP in shorts and T-shirts and stuff. I got, when he was
make it fun and let him.
You got to, because it was. I don't. When we were playing, it was different because we were employees, and we're the bosses. So you do what. You guys are going to do what we tell you to do. But now it's more of a, we're all in this together type thing. And not that we weren't all in it together back then, but we knew not to question.
Yeah. I mean, especially in the NBA, they're co-owners. The star players are co-owners. But so when you look at this division, even if the Phillies start, playing like this for the rest of the year, how tough is it going to be? Do you think they'll get one of the wild cards? Is that your expectation?
Yeah, you got to worry too, like what's happening out west too with the Dodgers and the Padres are having a great year. Will one of those teams? I doubt it, but will one of those teams have a collapse? Because eventually the Padres are going to get Tatis Jr. back. that could be ugly because they've been scoring runs, and Machado and Hosmer are having unbelievable years, and their pitching's been really good. The Dodgers are the Dodgers. They'll go out and get something if they need it at the trade deadline. They always do because they have such a great minor league system. They can afford to do it. And that, we always look at the East with what the Mets and the Braves are doing. You got to worry about this team that they're playing now, the Marlins. They can pitch. I mean, you saw that game, with Alcantara and Nola. I mean, that's two heavyweights going at it right there, and they match pitch for pitch, man. There was not going to be a lot of offense, and you kind of feel in those games as a player that you better do something late in the game to win it because, it's going to be close by the time you get to the eighth. And then, you understand that, and, thank God Reese got that big hit to walk it off. But, I worry about this team because they can pitch.
Yeah.
And, they're going to get healthy again. They're going to get Anderson back. They're going to get Joey Wendell back, and when they do, that's, two pretty good offensive pieces they're going to get. If I'm the Phillies, I don't concern myself with the Mets until you play them. But I just think that they're better than everyone else in this division. But if you're the Phillies need to, really dial it in on the Braves, on the Marlins. And, you don't want to watch the scoreboard, but you better keep your eye on what's going on out west.
Yeah.
And see what's going on with the Padres and the Giants out there, and the Cardinals. It's just I can't wrap my head around all these wild cards. Before it was just 2, right?
Yeah.
Now it's 3.
Yeah. Imagine that when you were playing. How many times you could have been in the playoffs? There were times. I mean, I remember the Phillies a couple times here. You were gone, but I remember a couple times they would have been like they added the wild card. Yeah. They would have been a playoff team. Let me ask you this too, because when you look at these come from behind wins, they've had 13 comeback wins this year. We've seen several on this streak here. What does that say about maybe a little bit of a change in the belief, the mentality, and the vibe in that dugout?
Well, they know they can win now. And people say that sometimes when you get some new players in, it takes a while to gel and everything. And but I think what I've been seeing recently is, and look, and it's every team. There's going to be a lot of strikeouts. We understand that, but it looks like to me that they're like I know. 1992 we finished in last place, but I think we led the league in runs scored. And we got into that mode where we trusted the guy behind us. So if I can, if they're not throwing me strikes, I'll walk because I know I'm not going to expand my strike zones. I knew Dave Hollins and Darren were behind me. I think the same with Lenny and the guys hitting second, Mickey or Mariano. Trust the guy behind you that he can deliver. And, our lineup was deep like this team's is deep. And so you got to trust these guys. And but these young kids now, they're coming up with big hits. I hate that Maton got hurt, but, Maton and Stott have come up with big hits for this team. Veerling hit the home run and Bohm off Hader in Milwaukee to win. The guy hadn't given up a run since what, April?
Yeah.
Or last year, maybe.
Last year, yeah.
I mean, that guy's filthy, man. And, they hit 2 home runs. So there's a belief that no matter what, they have a chance. But that also stems, John, from their bullpen. Seranthony's been unbelievable. I mean, when you talk to people in spring training, they had no idea what they were going to get from Connor Brogdon. His velocity was down. They didn't know if he was hurt. His velocity's back. His changeup's a lot better than it was early in the season. And now, you saw in last night's game, he pitched the 8th inning. And Seranthony got the 9th. And that's a great thing when your bullpen now is deeper. And you got to think that Knable's going to figure it out and get things rolling. Once he gets over this little shoulder issue. But if the bullpen like last night keeps them at bay, the offense knew they had a shot.
Yeah. Should Seranthony right now go into the closer's role?
Yes, I think the thing I love about Seranthony when he first came up, it was just that 4-seam that cut for him, and it was cutter. It was basically like Mariano Rivera. I'm just going to throw cutter. But now you watch, he's throwing a 2-seamer now that can run it in on a righty, so everything's not away from him. Everything's not into lefties anymore. He can run something away from him, and he's throwing a slider a lot more. And, now he's become a 3-pitch pitch instead of a 1-pitch. And I just think I firmly believe in my head, just my own opinion, that he has the mentality to be a closer. He definitely has the stuff to be a closer. Because I talked to other teams about when he first came up. And they're like, holy crap. He said, where'd they find this guy? 100-mile-an-hour cutters? I said, yeah, good draft, I guess.
Yeah, and I think Phillies fans want to see him in that role now. Speaking of pitching, it seems to me Aaron Nola is just having that sneaky great year. I mean, he leads baseball in WHIP, or he's 1-2.
Yeah.
He
strikeouts.
Basically, strikeouts. And then Zach Wheeler, him and Sandy Alcantara have arguably been the best pitchers since end of April when Zach kind of got going from not having the spring training.
Yeah.
With this, how much confidence do you think that gives the rotation and the other guys in the rotation when you got that 1-2?
Yeah, it's huge. And we were worried coming into the season about Aaron. Was he really a top of the rotation guy? Because he really struggled last year. I think the year before, 2 years prior to that, he was third in Cy Young, I think, at voting.
Yeah.
And so you thought, okay, we have a legitimate ace. Then they get Wheeler, and now you have a legitimate ace. But Aaron's right there with all of them right now. And if he continues like this, Eflin keeps progressing. Kyle Gibson was better his last start. He's been having just that one rough inning his last handful of starts where one inning just goes south for him, and he can't stop the bleeding. But if he's doing what he's doing, and if Ranger's command, that's the only thing with him. His stuff's there, the movement's there on his changeup, his cutter, whatever, and his 2-seam or 4-seam fastball and his sinker that is basically the way it was last year. Just he can't command it. Once he gets that, I think he's going to be a lot better. Showed signs in Milwaukee. Then the start here the other day against Arizona wasn't. Again, his command was all over the place. But here's my thing: their starting pitching is going to be good enough to get should be able to get them in the postseason. Their offense is good enough. Can the bullpen hold up? And can they catch the ball consistently enough? And if they can, the defense seemed to get better, but it just seems like they have that one clunker where everything goes south for them, both offensively and defensively.
Sunday, 13 to 1.
It was ugly. 11 walks, a hit batter,
struck out,
couple mental mistakes, 2 strikeouts with the bases loaded, 1 out. I mean, they had their chances, but again, Larry Bullock told me a long time ago. I wasn't playing my second year, Larry's first year managing, and he told me, he said, I firmly believe that defense wins championships, and you're a terrible outfielder. And I just remember talking to Bill Madlock, who was with the Dodgers. We were walking in one day, and I had to cross, to walk into the clubhouse in San Diego, you had to cross over the door of the Dodgers, or the visiting team. And I was walking in, and I heard a guy behind me go, "Hey, why ain't you playing?" I said, "I don't know. They said something about my defense wasn't good enough." And he looked at me, and he goes, "Man," he goes, "you could shake a tree, and he goes, 10 gloves will fall out and only 1 bat." And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I started thinking about it as I'm walking down the hall. I'm like, guess that's right. If you hit well enough, they'll find a place for you to play. And I started playing. Someone got hurt. Steve Garvey, I believe, got hurt. And, Bullock come in and say, "Hey, can you play first base?" Absolutely. I've never played first base in my life. Didn't know what the heck I was doing over there. I told the infield coach, Sandy Alomar Sr., I said, "Sandy, can you come out here tomorrow about noon?" He said, "Yeah, for what?" I said, "You got to teach me how to play first base, man." He goes, "Well, I thought you told him you could play there." I said, what do you want me to do, say no and sit the bench somewhere? And it turned out well after that.
Yeah.
So, but
they found a place. You found a spot.
Yeah, and I think, look, Alec had a tough day the other day, mental lapse with the runner coming toward him. He could have tagged him and got an out, and then hesitated and didn't get the force at second that caused a bigger inning than it should have been. But I really think Alec's going to be fine. I really do. He's too good an athlete not to be able to play third base. Yeah. And I know that those guys are working hard with him. Bobby Dickerson's working hard, and he has gotten a lot better after the
That was amazing.
Yeah.
By the way, this is not the Academy Awards. They're not putting the music on to say we got to wrap it up. I do have a couple other questions. Were you surprised at all with how much Philadelphia had his back? I mean, to get a standing ovation the next night, did it kind of teach these young guys, if you own it in this town and you're accountable, they love you?
Yep. That's all they want. Be honest with them. They hate. Dave Montgomery told me the first day I got traded here, Dave Montgomery said, he goes, "Look," he said, "I need to tell you something." He said, "You can't BS these people." He said, "You better be honest with them," because he said, "They will call BS on you." I said, well, I don't know if you heard the things I said about some people on the Padres, but I will be honest. But I remember one of my first games here, I forgot the outs. Caught a fly ball in left field, guy on second tag, and Lenny's screaming at me, throw it, throw it, throw it. I'm like, throw what? It's 3 outs. So I started jogging in, the guy on second tag and scored.
Wow.
And I'm like, I look up at the board, I'm like, oh man, 1 out, and now there's 2 outs. Then I had to lead off the next inning. Struck out on 3 pitches. They booed the crap out of me.
Yeah.
But I ended up driving in a few runs, drove in the winning run. And, after the game, they came to me and said, what happened? I said, I had a brain fart. I said, I screwed up. I forgot the outs. I said, I guarantee it's not going to happen again. Thank God it didn't. But I was honest.
Yeah.
And I didn't, I looked at the scoreboard and it said 2 outs. So I just trusted, I know, you don't make excuses.
Right, you're right.
Alec did make excuses. The bad thing is the national media was praying that they booed his ass.
Yep.
Praying. And that's what I hate about some of those people. They don't get it. If you haven't worked here, if you haven't played here, or if you haven't spent any time here, shut the hell up about here. I just really chaps my ass when these people come in one game, a half a season, maybe 2 times a year, and start talking about the fans.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Just shut up.
They want it to fit a narrative.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Because they come prepared.
Exactly.
Oh, boy, I hope something bad happens, so they boo people. So, no.
And we've got the Santa Claus, the Snowballs video ready to go.
Back in what, 1970?
Exactly.
A drunk Santa?
Right, exactly. It wasn't a good Santa.
No.
You're right. By the way...
I wouldn't let my kid sit on his lap if he was drunk.
By the way, I do think, too, that Philadelphia fans, they just want to know that you care and you hurt with the losses as much as they do.
And that's why I think Kyle... Bryce, I mean, come on, they love Bryce.
Yeah.
But I think, when you sign a player to come here, if they're thin-skinned, it's going to be tough because you are held accountable. And that's what I think, from day one, Nick and Kyle, Bryce and all the others, they understand that. And they understood before they signed here what you're getting into when you come here.
Yeah.
It's different. I remember San Diego. I runner on second, no outs. I hit a grounder to second, got the guy over to third in a tie game. Someone was booing me in that thing. I'm like, what the hell's your problem? A nice ground out to second. You couldn't drive. Like, my job was to get him to third. Right. I got, friggin' Jack Clark hit behind me. Jackson, unbelievable RBI guy. Jack hits a sac fly, put us in the lead. And I'm like, God, I told Bo, I said, these people don't know, what about baseball out here? He said, what the heck? So when he got fired, Larry got fired, I called him, talked to him, said, hey, thanks for giving me an opportunity and whatever. He said, I'm going back to Philly. I'm going to get your ass over there. I said, please do. Please do. And, the next year, here I am.
Yeah. Perfect place for you.
I loved it. Yeah, I loved it. I was kind of like this when I was a kid because I had 3 older brothers, and I had to fight and claw for everything.
Tough love, right?
My oldest brother's 10 years older than me. They didn't take it easy. We're playing wiffle ball in the backyard. They're trying to gas me up when I'm like 8, and he's 18. I had to learn.
Yeah.
And it pissed me off sometimes when I didn't get the job done, when I had a bad game in wiffle ball. And I think that subconsciously helped me when I got traded here.
It's a great description for Philadelphia fans, the tough older brother. Tough and young.
Yeah. Hold you accountable.
Yeah.
We're not going to take it easy on you.
Yeah, you're
but
right.
if you perform, we're going to love you to death.
Absolutely. Let me ask you a question about, if you're commissioner of baseball, you're talking about the new rules coming in. Because I looked up the time back in the 90s, games were like 2 hours and 50 minutes. Now they're like 3:10, 3:15. These games are too long.
Yeah.
What would you do? Would you put the pitch clock
I would put
effect?
a pitch clock in. I would. So many guys now you watch, it takes them forever to get from the on-deck circle to the batter's box. They have a routine. I said it the other day. I said, when you're hitting like 140, 1, your routine don't work, and 2, you should never question the umpire because you have no idea what your strike zone is if you're hitting 140. Right. But I just think there's so many, and look, with TV and the revenue that TV brings in, and the reason why these guys can get paid what they paid, a lot of it has to do with TV money. More commercials. especially national games. There's going to be more longer commercials, it seems like. And, you know, I was watching the game last night, and I was like, first inning, bottom of the first inning. Alcantara was almost done his warm-up pitches before the outfielders even got out there.
He's ready.
Yeah, he threw 2 pitches, and I think De La Cruz and Soler made the last out, I believe, so you can understand that. But De La Cruz was hitting 9th. He shouldn't have had his helmet and batting gloves on.
And you love being. Most guys would love being behind a pitcher like Cliff Lee and those guys who they're rolling.
Yeah,
they're rolling.
Rangers like that.
Yeah.
Get it and throw it, man. And, you know, I told my softball girls this when I was coaching softball. We had some that really tried to overthink things. You know, you can see it. It looks like there's smoke coming out of their ears because they're grinding their brain up there trying to figure out, do this, do that. I finally told a couple of them, and they were great kids. And I said, look, you two aren't very smart, so quit thinking. You know, you're not capable, so just don't. See the damn thing, hit it, and run like hell. I said, that's the way you hit. And they're like, oh, okay, coach. You know, and they ended up turning their seasons around. But, man, you know,
that's like Lenny Dykstra when he said, I don't read because I don't want to clutter my mind.
Yeah. Oh, it's funny because he was so, you know, one thought.
Yeah.
And that was, how am I going to approach this pitcher? And, you know, where I'm going to – Lenny was a savant when it came to breaking down a pitcher. Yeah. And he would tell us, you know, hey, first at bat, keep an eye on it. He said, you're going to see every pitch this guy had. Yeah. Unless it was a tough lefty, then he might swing early if he got a fastball because everyone thought he was going to take. But, I mean, you know, I was lucky because I had guys that hit in front of me like he and Tony Gwynn that worked deep counts, put the ball in play, you know, make pitchers work. And it helped me, both of them being left-hand hitters, to understand how this guy's probably going to pitch to me the same way. And those two guys helped me tremendously just by my being able to watch them.
He was analytics before analytics, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way you get it
man,
done.
He was unbelievable. And Tony was too. Tony, you know, Tony's reference I remember we were playing the Reds, or I think it was the Reds, and they brought in a lefty in the 9th inning, runner on second. And, you know, I'm assuming Tony's hitting second, I'm hitting third. It was only my second year in the big league. So, you know, you walk Tony Gwynn, right? I mean, the guy hits 360 every year.
Yeah.
You walk him to pitch to me, right? A lefty on lefty. And Tony said, he said, they're going to pitch to me. He said, last time I faced this guy, he said, I got 2-2 and I rolled over. He threw a slider, I rolled over a grounder to second. He said, I'm going to get 2-2. And he said, this game's over. I said, get the hell out. He got the count to 2-1. The guy threw a pitch probably 6-8 inches outside. Tony flips it over the third base dugout. He turned around smiling. And I'm like, oh, my God. They threw him a slider. He had a base hit in the gap like Reese did last night, and winning run scored. And I'm like, that's, you know, I got to start thinking that way. But then I asked him, I said, when's the last time you faced him? I thought it was like early in the season. Right. He said, well, like 2.5, 3 years ago. I'm like, holy crap.
Got it up there.
Recorded every one of his at-bats. Yeah. So he taught me how to watch video. But he said, don't watch anyone else's swing. Watch your own. And he worked with me one day. We were in that room. They had a little room built for Tony for all the video stuff.
He had his own separate room.
Yeah, they built it for Tony. And we went in there. But he brought me in there one day, and he's like slow-mo. Said, look what your hip's doing. Look what your wrist is doing. Look. I'm like, holy God, you watch this stuff every night? I said, I'd go brain dead if I had to watch that stuff every night.
Baseball porn.
Yeah. But he watched every night. He watched the next day starting pitcher and their bullpen guys, every at-bat that he's ever had off of them. Yeah. And, I mean, my God, hit what, 330 for his career or something? He's in the Hall of Fame. 8 batting titles. I mean, yeah, he did all right.
Amazing player to watch. How about when I look at the nutrition and the sports science these days, and I was thinking of the 93 team. What would that have been like if they tried to bring this guy in to introduce sports science and nutrition to that clubhouse?
Yeah. It's funny because me and Larry Bohm were talking about it yesterday with the, they have psychiatrists, psychologists or whatever, and performance coaches. I mean, they got everything. Let's put it this way. The players of today have everything they need at their disposal just by walking through the door. Yeah. They don't have to go to a doctor's office. They don't need to go to a psychiatrist's office if they think they need therapy or whatever. It's all there. Larry Bohm and I were joking about it yesterday. I said, can you imagine if the team psychiatrist, after Dave Hollins went 0 for 4, made a couple errors, and went to Dave and said, hey, Dave, I'm here if you want to talk to me. He'd kill the person. And, I've gone down there before, and the chefs are making, spinach and kale, and I'm like, oh my God, like where's the hot dog? But I remember a couple years ago, I went in Mets visiting clubhouse. I go see the clubhouse guy, Tony Carullo. I love Tony. So I would go in and visit him. He goes, come here, I want to show you something. We go in this room. There's like boxes and boxes of cakes and candies and everything. He said, why is this in here, not out there? He said, the Phillies nutritionist called and said, get all that stuff out of here. He said, we'll bring it. Here's what we need. And he said, and it's all healthy. And I'm like, oh my God. He looked at me and he goes, you'd have never made it. I said, no, I'd have probably quit, man. I'd eat that stuff all the time.
It is amazing. I thought the greatest sign I've ever seen at the vet, well, maybe Citizens Bank, was Babe did it on hot dogs and beer when Barry Bonds came to town.
Yeah.
It was just, it was a different era, huh? I mean, did you have anybody that would advise you or help you with anything nutritionally or sports psychologist or anything?
One year, they sent me and Wayne Gomes down to this guy in Louisiana, New Orleans, to lose weight. Like, come on, man. I'm single, all right? What makes you think I'm going to New Orleans to lose weight? But we had to get up.
How close was it to Bourbon Street?
Oh, my God. Well, right down the street, they had this place. There was 3 of us there. John Zuber, who's in the minor leagues with the Phillies, they wanted him to gain weight. They wanted Wayne to lose weight. Now, Wayne, when Gomesy came, he'd get on the bus to go to the place we worked out and trained and whatever. He'd fall asleep. Half the time, you couldn't get him out of the bus to go in to do the workout. And then afterward, we went out. They had a statue out there. I think it was St. Jude with arms like this. We went out there and kicked field goals over St. Jude. Because one of the days they said, hey, you guys got free conditioning. Yeah. So we went and got a football. Me and Zuber, we're out there throwing pass patterns and running back, trying to get Gomesy to come out so we can have a defender. He's like, no, I ain't doing that crap, man. So
wait, did they have the 3 of you together, the guy they needed to gain weight and the 2 guys they wanted to lose weight?
Well, Gomesy didn't want to ever do anything because we had the weekends off.
Yeah.
And so I'd go somewhere with Zub. Me and Zuber would go out, and he's getting cheeseburgers and this and that, and I'm looking at him like, well, this sucks. I got to eat like, a piece of lettuce and a piece of celery. That's it.
That's kind of cruel. You're watching him gain weight.
Well, put it this way: me and Gomesy didn't lose any weight while we were there, because Gomesy didn't really do much. I did all the work that they asked me to do. It just, after we were done at like 5 in the afternoon,
they send you.
They didn't keep a good eye on me.
They send you to one of the best food places, food cities in America.
But then one weekend we went we got on the riverboat, me and Zuber.
Oh man.
We were only going to go out for like an hour. We were gambling a little bit, having fun, eating, whatever. A couple cocktails here and there. And some guy that ran the riverboat, he knew who I was, so he came over and said, hey, he said, good to see you. He said, I grew up in Philly, blah, blah, blah. I said, oh, man, that's great. He said, we go back to dock and we're going back an hour, but if you guys want to stay here, we stayed there all damn day. We thought we'd go there from like 12 to 1, noon to 1, and, have a few drinks and then come back to the hotel and go get something to eat, whatever. We were on that thing from 12 to like 1 in the morning. I'm like, oh my God.
Were you supervised on this trip?
No. No. Well, we were supposed to write down everything we ate.
Sure. Yeah. That's great.
I told the guy, he said, I only want you drinking water. And I'm like, I said, there's water in beer, right? And I said, don't you have to have water to make beer? And there's barley, hops. You're getting all your grains you need.
That is amazing, because now teams will send like 3 people with somebody if they're losing weight. So are they sending the guys who have the gambling problems to Vegas? Is that where they're sending them to?
Wasn't well thought out, was it? It was fun, though. I mean, I was down there I think we were down there for 2 weeks.
That's amazing.
I went back to West Virginia and showed up in spring training. And I did get in shape. I had the worst spring training of my life. Probably the lightest I ever came into spring training. And I think I had 1 hit all spring.
Really?
And near the end of spring, about a week left to go in spring training, after another little grounder to second, I remember standing there by the batting cage like this, like, my God, I don't know if I'll ever get a hit again the rest of my life. John Vukovich behind me, and Vukie goes, "You're a lot better hitter fat." I looked at him and said, "Is that the green light?" He said, "Green light, pizza and beer tonight for you." I'm like,
and then you went like on a 10-game tear?
Yeah, I didn't do well the rest of spring, but once my weight got to a good place, I got off to a really good start. Because Fregosi was going to bench me opening day in '93.
Really?
Because of how bad a spring I had. And he called me in opening day. We're in Houston. I think Greg Swindell was pitching. And he goes, I can't play you. I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "You stink." I said, "Oh, man, that stuff don't count." I said, "Some guys hit when they can, some hit when they want to."
Right.
I said, "I'll get 3 tonight. Don't worry about it." He said, "Well, you better, or else you ain't playing tomorrow." And I'm like, "Oh, there's some pressure, man." But I did. I ended up getting, I think I got 3 hits. And
then the rest was history.
Yeah.
Led the whole way.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. Growing up here in Philly, there was no better title for a book.
No.
I'm not an athlete, lady. I'm a baseball player. That is the absolute perfect title.
I know, but I got to clear that up. I wasn't clever enough to come up with that. Randy Reddy and I were in a bar, and, you know, I had a couple pops, I'm drinking a beer, whatever. And some lady come over and said something about, you know, "So what are you doing? You're a professional baseball player. You're a professional athlete. You know, you shouldn't be out here drinking." You know? And Randy looked at her, he goes, "Ma'am," he said, he's not an athlete, lady, he's a baseball player." So it was Randy's line. It just somehow got thrown onto me like I said it. It was like in Chicago. I didn't know what that body of water was the first time we flew over, but I knew it wasn't an ocean. Tim Flannery saying that. Oh, he asked me what ocean it was. Is that the Atlantic or the Pacific? Lake Michigan.
Lake Michigan?
Yeah, he says. And I said, I'm like, man, I didn't say that. I never said that. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
But I knew it wasn't an ocean.
Wait, you have a couple good quotes? Because I've heard.
Well, I didn't know where San Diego was either when I got drafted by him.
Get out.
Oh, no clue. Didn't even know they had a team. Didn't watch baseball.
You didn't know San Diego had a baseball team? Wow. That's
I got
amazing.
drafted. A buddy of mine come over and goes, "Look," and brought over a Dave Winfield baseball card, and it was ugly yellow and brown. I'm like, "Oh my God, it's a softball team. Look at that."
Those can't be real.
But I didn't realize how beautiful a place San Diego was. I had no clue.
Yeah.
Because we were told on the weekends. We only had 3 stations growing up. Eventually, I think my junior year, we got my junior year in high school, 17. I think we got TBS and WGN, so we got to watch the Cubs
and the Braves. Yeah.
But then, my parents were like, weekends, you're going to do your chores. You had to go weed your garden and, pick out the dead buds and stuff for tomatoes and whatever and all that. But then we were allowed to come inside till it was time to eat. And then she would let us know, because we had acres, we had a baseball field, football field, basketball. And we weren't allowed to come in the house until she called us in. Unless one of us got into a fight, one of us was bloody. But and then it was like, if you don't need stitches, keep your ass outside. Tough love. But, we were told to be outside. So we didn't really watch baseball. So really the only baseball I saw in the 70s was the World Series.
Yeah.
We would watch the World Series because they still had day games, but there were night games too. And, my brothers and I would watch. But it seemed like it was always the Yankees and the Dodgers.
Yeah.
So, that's who the teams we knew. I didn't know the Padres weren't going to be on the game of the week.
Right.
So that's why I had no idea who they were. I had no clue who they were.
And that they would actually wear those uniforms.
Yeah.
Huh.
And, I remember I was playing in a summer league when I got drafted by the Padres. The coach called me in and said, "Hey, you got drafted by the Padres." I said, "Who?" He said, "The Padres." Well, what the hell is that? He said, "San Diego Padres." I said, "I don't know." Clueless, man.
Is it religious? Is it?
I had no idea. All I know is when I saw those uniforms, I'm like, wow, this is not going to be good. But
that's wild.
Yeah, but I learned how to play by being outside.
Yeah.
And we did, because my mom planted her corn, everything in right field. So that's how I learned how to hit the left field. Because
Get out.
Oh my God.
You didn't want to ruin her corn?
No, I didn't want her to beat my ass. because I would snap hook a couple in there, and my brothers would run in to get it. Oh my God! So it got to the point. She came out and she said, "Look, you hit one more ball in there, you'll never play again." She said, "You better hit the ball that way, or else you're done." And I was the only lefty in my family, so my brothers were all like, hitting bombs. I'm like, boy, I got to figure out how to do this. But I did. I learned how to use my hands and hit the ball that way, and and it worked. And that's why I had trouble pulling the ball when I got in the minor leagues and the big league. I didn't know how to pull the ball because
We're sending everybody to your mom's cornfield.
No, not now. She got pissed, man. I mean, it was bad. But
that's awesome. And you retired as a 300 hitter on the. I'm telling you, that was.
I didn't know.
See, I always thought you knew exactly. I'm walking off the field because I'm at 300.
No. So here's what happened. The White Sox have been talking about trading some of our pitchers. Alex Fernandez, Wilson Alvarez, and Jim Abbott. And Abbott was our best pitcher. And so he and I were on the bus one day, and I said, "Look," I said, my body's shot. I said, "If they trade you, I'm going to retire." He said, "Oh, really?" I said, "Yeah." I said, because I know then they're going to start getting rid of other guys and going to rebuild. And I said, I knew I was done after this year anyway, so this just going to expedite me being done. So we were we flew into Boston. We get on the bus, and Jim goes, "Hey," he said, "can you come to my room when we get to the hotel?" I said, "Yeah." So I go up there, and Ozzie Guillen was there, because I've known Ozzie since he was 16 in the minor leagues with the Padres. We played together for 4 years. Robin Ventura was up there. Kurt McCaskill was up there. And I believe Scott Radinsky. 3 crazy guys. That was funny, but... So, I go up to his room, and Abby goes, "Hey," he said, "I got traded." I said, "Get the hell out of here." He said, "Don't retire, though, man." I said, "No, I'm done, really." So, we were toasting Abby, drinking some beers, whatever. And Kurt McCaskill and Robin, Ozzie, and Scott, they said, "Man, we got to come up with something creative for you to retire." They said, "Tell you what, we got 3 games here in Boston." He said, "Why don't you, next hit, just walk off the field and go home?" Yeah, I can do that. So I had to go in and tell the general manager and the manager the next day. I say, "Hey, if I get a hit, I'm retiring." They called this kid up. I was 0 for 3 games in Boston. And I'm like,
you need that hit.
We go to Baltimore, and I grew up about 2.5, 3 hours from Baltimore, so my parents were there, a bunch of family, relatives, and stuff. So I told my dad, I said, "Hey, when I get a hit, I'm retiring." His quote to me was, "Well, you better get the son of a bitch before Sunday, because it's supposed to be 120 degrees here." And he said, "I'm sitting out in that heat waiting for you to get another hit."
So you have one at bat in your mind?
Well, Friday, I didn't get a hit. Friday, really? Saturday, Sunday in Baltimore. Didn't get a hit Friday. Saturday it was so bad, I pinch hit, struck out. And so I saw Doug Jones, who played with us the year before in Philly. He was the closer for the Orioles. And we were talking, and he said, what's going on? I said, "Well, I want to get one more hit and retire and walk off the field." These Ozzie and these guys and Robin and all, they came up with this great plan. And I said, "Who's pitching Sunday?" He said, "Scott Erickson." I said, "Is he a good guy?" He goes, "Yeah, real good guy." I said, "Can you tell him just to throw me a damn cookie with nothing on it so I can just have one chance of getting another hit before I die?"
Did you say your dad's sitting in the heat?
Oh, yeah. Oh, he was.
Lay it on?
He was upset, too, after the game Saturday. He goes, "You got to be kidding me." And, he was you talk about unfiltered. That man was unfiltered. He was Archie Bunker before Archie Bunker. I mean, it was something. So he goes, "I tell you what," he said, Jonesy goes, "I tell you what," he said, "I'll come down the dugout before you come up to hit. If I tip my hat, he'll do it."
Wow.
And I'm like, "Oh, thank God." So first guy, someone got on, next guy made it out. I'm walking up. I don't see Jonesy anywhere. And I'm eyeballing that dugout. And he's not anywhere. I'm getting close to batter's box. Like, oh my God, I might have to try this on my own. He come down and went like this, breathing heavy too. And he did. Scott threw me a pitch about like a BP type fastball. Yeah. Got the jam and hit a little blooper. So I'm on first base. They called a kid up in Boston. So when I got the hit, he was going to take my place.
They were ready for...
Every day he'd ask me, "Hey, today the day?" I doubt it. He said, "Well, next day, hey, you feel good today?" "Nope. Don't look for it today." But Ron Jackson was our first base coach, and Rafael Palmeiro was playing first for the Orioles. And I said, Papa Jack, man, it was a pleasure. Pleasure, your coaching. I really appreciate everything you did for me. He goes, what are you talking about? I said, I'm done, man. Frank Thomas was on the top step getting ready to run for me. Papa Jack and Rafi trying to talk me into staying. Oh, you got to stay. You're hitting 320, man. Why are you leaving at 320? And I'm like, would you guys shut up? Frank's ready to run for him. Papa Jack looked, goes, oh my God, you're serious? Frank's ready to come in? He said, this will be the first time Frank ever ran for anyone. I said, yeah, that tells you how slow I am. So then, like, they kept talking.
I was wondering if that's the same Frank Thomas, because I'm like, he's coming in to pinch.
Oh, yeah. Frank was coming in to run for him.
Wow.
But, so the pitcher pitches, and he hits the ball. Someone hits the ball, base hit to left field. And I'm like, crap, I got to run to second. You know, these guys were talking to me. If I run to second, so I thought, well, hell, I'm here. I might as well talk to Cal, you know, wish him luck on the streak and hope he, you know, breaks the consecutive game streak, you know. And I'm talking to him. Next one hit, you know, another fly ball, and I'm like, oh, Cal, I got to run. I hit third. You know, it was a fly out, end the inning. I hit third. I go in. I had a note prepared. I left with Ozzie. Ozzie had a bottle of champagne, toast, drank a toast because. You know, I mean, Ozzie, I'm so close with Ozzie and his whole entire family. It's, you know, he's like a brother to me, and it meant a lot to me. And it was Dom Perignon, too. It was a good stuff.
Oh, that's good.
I didn't like it, but it was still good.
I didn't see you as a Dom Perignon guy.
No, but I drove home because, like I said, I only lived 3 hours, so I drove home. I got home before the game was over. I had a satellite dish, you know, West Virginia State Flower. And so I turned on the game. And I heard the announcer say, we still haven't got word, but it looked like he was limping. We're assuming he pulled a hamstring. And I was like, oh, crap, I guess I didn't tell anyone.
You're home.
I am home.
And you couldn't tweet it.
No, God, no.
They didn't have
sitting on my recliner, and they're talking about, you know, I must have got hurt or something.
That is insane.
But here's where I know I make my own decisions. My agent called me 2 weeks later, and he said, are you injured? He said, I haven't seen your name in the box score.
What?
I said, oh, man, I forgot to tell you I'd retired. He goes, shouldn't that have been something you ran past me? I said, you were going to change my mind.
Oh, my God. 2 weeks later, your agents wondered, where have you been? Where are you?
I wanted to know if I was hurt.
Oh, my God.
Because I didn't really answer the phone a lot.
Yeah.
And he did leave messages, but I'm like,
oh, my God.
Yeah, so finally I said, I better answer it. He's probably wondering. And,
That is amazing.
2 weeks.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
So the span of you trying to get your next hit and final hit was how many days, actually?
5. That's how because
wow.
When I walked away, I went home. I didn't know nothing. I didn't know I had exactly 100 homers. I think I was like doubles or something. I had an even number. Like, I don't know what it was, but whatever.
And
I had no idea.
300 batting average, right?
I had no idea.
So did you go, in those 5 days, did it go from like 302 to 301 to 300? You don't.
I have no idea. That was something. I learned a valuable lesson from my dad when I was a 9th grader. We were playing in a summer league, and when I pitched, my brother played shortstop. When he pitched, we had to move all the infield around because I had to play the outfield.
Yeah.
And so my dad one day said, we don't catch the ball in the infield. He said, you're playing shortstop next time your brother pitches. Yeah, whatever. I never played shortstop. Left-handed. I made 2 errors in the first inning. Came in after the inning, I said, you got to get me off shortstop. I don't want to play there no more. Really? You don't want to play shortstop no more? I said, nope. He said, then get your ass home. He said, I'm the coach. I tell you what to do. You don't tell me what to do. And if you don't like it, get the hell home. You're done. Wow. And I'm like, whoa. I said, Dad, I'm going to be the best damn shortstop you've ever seen. He's like, damn right you are. And I played shortstop all through high school. And I was told that I didn't win the West Virginia State Player of the Year because I was a left-handed shortstop. I hit like 630 or something like that.
Wow.
And
that ain't right.
No.
That ain't right.
No, my dad was really good friends with the secondary schools president of the Secondary School Activities Commission in West Virginia. And the guy called him and told him, my dad said, you know what? He said, you're full of shit. He said, no, if you're the best player, you're the best player. It don't matter what position you play or what hand you throw with.
Exactly.
I didn't care. Because that kid that won it came up to the junior college, and they cut him.
Wow.
The guy that won the West Virginia State Player of the Year came to our junior. But we were good, though. Oh, man. Wow. We had like 6 guys get drafted off our junior college team.
Really?
I asked him, I said, who's these guys, old guys out here with these stopwatches and guns and notepads. They said, oh, they're scouts. I said, for what? And one guy, well,
Thought you're going to say Boy Scouts?
yeah, that's the Yankees guy, that's the Reds, that's this, that's this. I said, what the hell are they here for? I said, to watch us play. Well, the one guy got drafted by the Yankees, one with the Dodgers, one got drafted by the Reds, and I got drafted by the Pirates, actually.
Really?
Yeah. Branch Rickey III came down to sign me.
That's pretty cool.
No, it wasn't.
No?
Showed me brochures of Bradenton. Nothing about the Pirates. He said, you know, we're going to send you down to spring training because you're kind of local to Pittsburgh, being from West Virginia. We're going to send you down to spring training, and then we're going to send you home. I'm like, wow, where do I sign? My dad looked at him. He said, Mr. Rickey, with all due respect, you can go F yourself. And he got up and walked away. And I'm like, wow. So he looked at me and he goes, well, what do you think? I said, you heard him. Go F yourself. I walk out. We had a 30-minute drive home. Not a word said. We pull in to the street, you know, the road that my parents lived on. And I said, hey, I got a question. I said, what happens if I don't get drafted again? And he goes, well, I guess that's on you then, isn't it? That was it. So I was prepared to play here in Philly long before I was even out of high school.
You got the perfect training.
Oh, man.
The perfect training for Philly.
There was no,
wow.
You know, he didn't pull punches. And, you know, you did what he told you to do. And if you didn't, there was going to be repercussions. And, you know, I took that into baseball. And I didn't question my managers, coaches, nothing. You know, they tell you what to do, you do it. And that's just the way we grew up.
You had great training.
Yeah.
Great training. And I have found, like, especially in Philly, I see Tyrese Maxey with the Sixers, Jalen Hurts, the son of a coach. There's nobody better as far as being dedicated, work ethic, and being accountable. So I think there's something to that.
My high school coach was as tough as my dad.
Really?
Yeah. Well, he quit after my sophomore year, but for 2 years, 9th grade and 10th grade, I was that goddamn dumb Pollock. I never know. Call me by my name. Hey, you goddamn dumb Pollock, go get the bases. Hey, you goddamn dumb Pollock, go play out catch with the outfield. Hey, you got every. I'm like, wow.
You had it rough.
No, I loved it.
You had it rough.
I loved it. He threw a rock at me one day because he got pissed about something. I wasn't even playing. In 9th grade, he didn't play freshman. He said, I don't play freshman. I'm like, whatever. Threw a rock, hit me right in the shin. You know, you think your parents would have your back? Hey, coach threw a rock at me. They said, what'd you do to deserve it?
Yeah. How about that?
I guess I wasn't getting hits, not playing. I don't know. But
you're a tough SOB. I like this.
I loved it though. Yeah. That's all we knew. That's all my brothers and I knew.
Yep. Now they got attorneys calling everybody. You got agents on the phone. You got
Well, I said it. You know, you wonder why guys complain. Like you go to Little League games or these travel ball things, and 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds complain about the umpire, questioning the umpire.
Parents.
Yeah. Someone asked me. He said, "What do you think about that?" I said, "How do you blame them?" I said, it's not their fault. Right. I said, the parents scream at the umpire after every pitch.
Right.
So the kid probably thinks it's okay. Why can't I do it if you're doing it?
You're right.
I said, they should ban parents from travel ball or build a closed-in area with soundproof.
You can't hear them.
Soundproof room where they can just sit and watch. They can scream all they want. No one will hear you. Parents ruin sports. Right? They really do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
then they force the coaches to do things, and they think they're running the team.
My son played Little League. First year kid pitch, he got drilled. His first 2 at-bats, he got hit in the shoulder and then hit in the hand. He came a little gun shy. And the next year, we were out, hey, baseball's starting. You want to go out and hit, play catch? He goes, yeah, let's go play catch. We're out there playing catch. I can tell something's bothering him. And he said, I need to talk to you. I said, yeah, what? He's like 10 years old. I said, what? He said, I don't think I want to play baseball anymore. Wow. I said, okay. I said, what do you want to do? He said, I don't know. His best friend played soccer. He said, I think I might want to play soccer. Okay, we'll sign you up. He looked at me and he goes, I didn't realize it was going to be that easy. He said, I've been worried about this for a while.
Wow.
I said, I would never make you do anything you don't want to do. If you don't want to, but you will play something. Well, he ended up playing soccer. He was the goalie. Their defense in that soccer team was so good. He went like 5 games without a shot on goal. He just stood leaning up against posts with his water bottle. Like, God, this has got to be killing him. He got in the car after one of the practices. He goes, Dad, what? I said, he goes, I'm playing baseball next year. This sucks. I said, well, welcome to it. football.
Right. You knew what you were doing, though,
Oh,
right?
yeah. No, well, but, he played basketball. I told him, I said, once you start, you can't quit. You finish out the season. Then the next year, if you decide you don't want to play, both my kids. My daughter hit like 5-something her freshman year in softball. But she was a really, really good volleyball player, and she was a good basketball player. She played varsity sports because we were a small private school from the 6th grade.
Yeah.
She was playing varsity basketball, softball, and volleyball as a 6th grader. So she had a really good year freshman year, and she asked me, she said, I want you to be honest with me. What sport do you think I'm best at? I said, volleyball. He said, but don't you want me to play softball? I said, I'd love for you to play softball, but you can play volleyball in college. You don't know if you can play it in softball. Yeah. And I said, you have a passion for volleyball. You can see it the way you play, the joy that you play with. She said, so she the next year, she played as a 10th grader. And then she said, well, the pandemic canceled the season. We only played like 4 games or something. But, and then she just became volleyball. And that's it. And she, she's going to go to play college volleyball.
That's awesome.
And, but that's what she said. She said, everyone thinks that you're so hard on us with sports because you played professionally. And I keep telling them, you're the easiest person because we make the decision.
Yeah.
You back us 100% with our decision. I said, look, would I love to see you continue to play softball? Yeah, because I'm the coach and you're a good player. But your heart's with volleyball. Chase it. You know?
That's a great lesson.
Yeah.
And really, life is about finding something you love to do and then try to find a way to make money doing it, right?
Yeah, but I encourage kids to play all sports.
Yeah.
These kids that play one sport, they seem to get hurt a lot because they're using those same muscles over and over and over. Like I know football because I played quarterback and defensive back. So I knew football helped me with being a point guard basketball.
Yeah.
I knew a point guard in basketball made me a better baseball player because of lateral movement. Playing infield, lateral movement, outfield, getting reads and stuff like, how the defense was playing me, but how the offense was going to attack me.
Yeah.
And, that mentality had made me a better baseball player. Because honest, John, I hated baseball with an absolute passion. I thought it was the most boring thing in the world. I went to college to play basketball. Baseball was kind of an accident.
Wow.
And,
wow.
Yeah, that's why I asked who all those guys were. The right fielder got hurt for the college team, the baseball team. And the coach kept coming to our basketball. He said, come play. You're a good player. We need you out in right field. Man, I ain't playing. Then he said, hey, we go to Florida for 2 weeks, spring break. I'm like, you got yourself a right fielder. And then I clicked with the baseball guys a lot better than I clicked with the basketball players in college. And because I played against a lot of them in high school, and it was a blast. We were good, too. I think we were, oh, my God, I think we finished like 40-something and 4 or something. I mean, we had a couple pitchers got drafted, or shortstop, second base, me, third baseman. We were good, man. We could hit.
Well, I'll tell you, I think you should write another book.
No.
I think you should write another book.
I don't have time.
Yeah.
Someone asked me, but
you got some great stories.
Yeah,
I mean, the story about your retirement.
Yeah, John, I want to tell you, I have been blessed. And I tell my kids this, like when I go home and then I have to leave to come back up here, they said, oh, Dad, when you got to go back to work? I said, work? I said, man, I ain't worked till your grandmother put me in that damn garden out there to weed all her damn plants. Yeah. I said, that's the last time I worked.
Yeah.
But, we had to work through high school. We had jobs in the morning at a card shop, paper place.
Yeah.
We had to mop the floors, clean the sidewalk, clean everything. And then the owner would come in, and do that. And then on the weekends, my brother and I would go to strawberry field, pick strawberries for the local vendor,
Yeah.
Those little green things they come in? There's probably like 6 or 7 strawberries.
Yeah.
We got 5 cents for each one.
Really?
Thought we were rich, man.
Nice.
Yeah, Skull was only like 75 cents, so we thought we were in high cotton. But yeah, we worked, and I told my kid, I said, let me tell you something, I've been blessed. I said, I haven't had a job since I was 18 years old.
That's great.
I have not worked a day in my life since 18. I said, I get to play baseball, I get to watch baseball and talk about baseball. I said, what else could you ask for?
It's a great life.
I'm 61 years old.
It's a great life.
My wife won't let me retire though. I was gonna retire like 4 years ago. She's like, no, you're not. You got 2 kids going to college. Your ass is going back. Whatever. But like, can you retire from not working?
It's a good point. It's a good point.
How would I make that announcement at some point in my life?
Right, exactly.
And I just want to let you know that I don't do a lot now, but I'm really going to do nothing now.
I've never had a job, but I'm retiring, Coach.
It's been a great run. I've made some great friends in this game, and I just feel blessed every day that you can receive a paycheck from baseball.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Listen, this has been fun.
Oh, thanks, John.
And I got to tell you, love the broadcast because it's like people are sitting at a bar talking with you about the game, and that's what it should be. It's relaxed, it's casual, it's fun, good stories.
Yeah, I can't be that, well, 2017 he hit X amount of whatever with runners in scoring position, 2 outs against a righty who doesn't throw over 90. I don't give a crap about that. T-Mac's great about that, and I love it. And the guys I work with at ESPN were like, they say, you just talk.
Yeah.
You just give your opinion on what you see, and sometimes I get a little carried away with some of the stories and probably say things I shouldn't, but
it's great though. It's great. It's fun.
It is what it is.
We're chilling,
man.
watching
61.
a great game.
I can't change now, John.
That's
Too
great.
old.
Well, John,
thanks, buddy.
Thanks a lot for the time.
Appreciate
I was
it.
thinking we are going to do 20 minutes, and I don't even know how long we went. It's great. Love the stories.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks.
Keep up the good work on the broadcast.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks a lot, John.
Big one tonight.
Oh, yeah.